Tribes of Midgard hit PlayStation and PC back in 2021. It's a big co-op-focused Viking sandbox that is launching into Xbox at the start of its third season of new content. Your mighty immortal character will chop down trees, pickaxe rocks, and slay creatures of legend in an up to 10-player co-op title that has grown a lot since its first launch. So let's get into it in the XboxEra review of Tribes of Midgard. The premise of the game is a simple one. You are sent down from Asgard to protect Midgard, aka Earth, from the denizens of Hell, with one L. Two modes are on offer, the first of which is the Sagas. This has been the main mode of the game since launch, and it is the big focus of the marketing for Season 3, and the game's arrival on the Xbox platform. Sagas have you protecting part of the world tree which resides in a town. Multiple NPCs are there to help you craft items for gathering resources, forge weapons, and armor for fighting, and gain potions or food to replenish your health. The main goal of a saga is to defeat the world boss, and there are 3 available now. You can choose to go after 1, 2, or all 3 if you're feeling up to it, though I'd recommend only pushing that if you've got a big group of friends to help you. Co-op play is the main focus of the game, especially in the saga mode. I was lucky enough to get to play with 6 of the dev and PR members working on the game as we worked our way through the brand new saga. Each run starts at the same point in a procedurally generated world. You'll begin by finding sticks and flint to craft your first axe and pickaxe. After getting enough wood, stone, gems, and minerals of various qualities, you can use those resources to upgrade your vendors and craft more and more powerful gear. In the town is a community chest, something recently added to the game that lets you combine all of your players' resources into one big pile. While the game does offer up matchmaking, I would say focus on finding a friend group of at least 3 or 4 people if you can for this one, as it makes things a heck of a lot easier and less frustrating. The resource gathering aspect is helped by the fact that every node only takes 1 hit to gather, no matter the size. Your initial saga runs will be a learning experience where you figure out the most optimal routes and strategies as you attempt to defend your city from the nightly enemy raids while gaining more and more power so that you can take down the various camps and targets that litter the very large map. In the Saga mode, there are a lot of unlockable class archetypes, though you'll only start with the Ranger and Warrior available. The Ranger is both safer to play as and more challenging due to its higher skill ceiling. The Warrior is exactly what you'd think, and was my choice as I just like smashing things. The controls are fairly simple all around, with X being your main attack, B being used for dodge with a short cooldown on it, Y, right trigger and right bumper being your various mana-using abilities, and A being your interact button. The D-pad is used to go through your potions and consumables, and the left trigger is for locking onto enemies and using your shield. The controls work well overall, though the combat can feel a bit loose at times. With this being a light MMO-feeling game, focused on co-op though, I get it. When 10 people are all hitting the same mob, it wouldn't really make much sense if they could constantly stun lock it, for instance. Health is a constant worry as you can only carry a limited number of potions and food consumables, but a trip back to town next to the world tree in the middle will heal you whenever it pulses. Clicking in the right stick is your runestone, which transports you back to the base, where you can grab various per-person quests which reward you with rare resource items. There is a lot of focus on resource gathering, both from the land and enemies as you defeat them. There are also chests everywhere, and as long as you're close to them when they're opened, everyone gets a shower of loot out of each one. The later game builds can focus on different elements which are stronger or weaker against certain foes, so it's worth having a few built up per run once you know what you're doing. The other mode, and my personal favorite for solo play, is Survival. This is a new take on the previous survival mode that had been in the game. Instead of just being more of a variant of the Saga mode where you are still focused on protecting a town, you now find yourself in something not timed and that can't really end. Instead of NPCs, you use the Allforge to create various crafting stations that you slowly empower up to unlock more and more items. I can see myself playing this mode of the game a lot more than the Sagas because I hate timers and being rushed, and the new survival mode is a far more relaxed experience overall. It can be played solo or alone, and you can allow matchmaking if you want, though that does open up the possibility that people come in and destroy all the various stations and full buildings that you create. I didn't have enough time to unlock most of the blueprints during this review phase, but the options here seem quite large for the base building side of survival, and it works pretty well on a controller. The main focus overall in survival is, much like the Saga mode, to build yourself up strength-wise enough so that you can go and slay a selection of world bosses. The key difference is that you don't have to worry about defending a town and losing if the tree within it is destroyed. For most people who are interested in this game but might not have a big group of friends to play with and don't like the thought of matchmaking, this mode is a huge selling point. I had a lot of fun in the Saga with the dev team, but I doubt I'll have a big enough friend group to play once the game launches in full, so having this survival mode will keep the game installed and played frequently on my Series X. Graphically, the game uses a cel-shaded look that holds up well. It ran at a steady 60 frames per second, and the resolution was high enough to keep things clean looking. I wouldn't say it's a gorgeous title, but some of the enemy designs for the Frost Giants and the Saga bosses looked great. The music fits the Viking theme appropriately enough, and the sound effects did their job without getting in the way. I did run into a lot of bugs, but I was on a special press build of the game. We've been assured by the dev team that the launch build for customers will have a couple of months of extra work put into it, so the minor bugs, such as being unable to move without dodging, have been fixed. The metagame outside of each run is tied to a Battle Pass-style progression system. You'll have challenges along with in-game drops that can net you season experience. As you level up through the season, you'll get a mix of starter kits, cosmetics, and social interaction unlocks. There does appear to be a real money cosmetic-only shop for some of the cooler looks in the game, but it wasn't turned on in the press build, so I'm unsure of the pricing. The only game-affecting items were the starter kits, which can let you have low-level armor and weapons to start a saga or a couple of useful runes. They were very easy to get and added a small amount of convenience. There was no pay-to-win behind any of it, and it felt more like an RPG leveling mechanic than any type of microtransaction. In conclusion, Tribes of Midgard is a large number of simple systems that work well with their co-op focus. The new survival mode makes solo play a hell of a lot more appealing as well. Retailing for a very reasonable $20 US, this one is worth checking out if you have a group of friends interested in it, or even if you want to go it alone. Thank you so much for watching, and if you can like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps the channel grow. We'll see you here next time on Xbox Era.